You are in direct violation of the covenants. This notice demands immediate compliance or we will foreclose.
We paid the disputed amount into escrow.
A deputy stopped me halfway up the courthouse steps at 9:00 a.m. because the HOA president was pointing at me like I was a thief. Cold wind shoved my papers against my chest, and the stone was slick. She planted herself by the metal handrail, phone held high, and said loud enough for strangers to hear, "That's him. He's tampering with records." My escrow folder was in my arm, my closing was in an hour, and she was acting like she owned the courthouse. The air smelled like wet asphalt and cheap coffee. 2 days earlier I thought buying was just signatures. Then I realized I was living and Karen blocked my courthouse steps over escrow file using security footage and their gate removed was final. She claimed courthouse cameras proved I snuck into the records hall after hours and pulled my escrow packet. I wasn't even in town that night. She wanted the clerk to delay my recording so my deal would die, and I'd lose $10,000 in earnest money, while the HOA could keep its new gate up. It's deeded to my lot. Not shared. I tried being polite anyway. I showed the deputy my appointment email and the title company letter. The HOA chair smiled like she was doing community service and said, "We're protecting the neighborhood from fraud." I stepped to the side, and she slid with me, still blocking the steps. Inside, the lobby lights buzzed and the coffee stand smelled burnt. The clerk's face went flat when she saw the HOA badge on the woman's blazer. 2 neighbors from my street were there, and they stared at their shoes like eye contact cost money. After I filed my papers, I went straight to the HOA office. I brought the plat map and a photo of the brand new gate across the side path to my back entrance. The board rep didn't open my folder. She said the gate was staying, and if I used the path, I'd be fined $250 each time. I appealed twice by email. One reply came back, denied. When I asked neighbors if the gate blocked them, they whispered, "Don't poke the chair." Even the friendly ones suddenly found reasons to walk away. So I stopped chasing their approval and started building proof. No stunts. Proper channels only. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed the fine notices and saved every voicemail from their security patrol guy. Then I wrote one clean anchor point, because bullies hate timelines. Timeline item 1 April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Under it I wrote the plain truth they kept ignoring: patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. If they wanted to play games, I was going to win with paperwork. On May 1, 2024, I went back to the courthouse for public records. The records window had scratched glass and a tiny bell that sounded like a sad bicycle. I asked for the easement language, the right-of-way map, and any permit tied to the gate. The clerk stamped my request and returned with a thick bundle held by a rubber band. The file landed with 68 pages, still warm from the copier. Page 1 showed the side path as an access easement. Another page showed the HOA never pulled a permit for a barrier there. That night I emailed the scans to the board and to the county right-of-way office, polite. Please confirm permits and remove the obstruction by May 5, 2024. The HOA president didn't answer. She went to the neighborhood chat and posted a grainy courthouse screenshot, calling me a stalker. That backfired fast. Screenshots came right back at her. People asked why she was at the courthouse on a weekday. Someone asked who paid for the gate. Someone else asked why 3 households had fines in the same week. One neighbor posted, "I have emails." Another posted, "I have videos." Then someone typed, "Save everything." By the next morning, the street felt like a quiet crowd before fireworks. Phones were out, held low, recording without saying they were recording. A teen on a bike nodded at me and whispered, "Courthouse guy." 2 retirees at the mailbox muttered, "She picked the wrong one." In the chat, someone typed, "That gate blocks the stroller path." Another replied, "It blocks my wheelchair route." A third wrote, "I got 4 violations in 1 week." Then, who else got fines? Then, county number is on the letterhead. Then, don't delete anything. Even the folks who never talk were suddenly typing like their thumbs were on fire. On May 6, 2024, the county inspector arrived at 2:15 p.m. with a deputy, right as the board was doing their slow community walk. The inspector measured the gateposts and asked for the permit number. He photographed the latch, the hinges, and the warning sticker. He said the gate sat in a public right-of-way. He pointed to the recorded easement and said it must stay clear. He noted it created an ADA barrier and could block emergency access. He asked who approved the fines. The HOA president tried her sweet voice again, and the deputy asked her to step back. Right after that, the mood changed without anyone announcing it. People stepped onto porches like they'd been holding their breath for months. Shoulders lowered. Neighbors who used to dodge eye contact started asking questions out loud, not in private messages. One guy said, "So you can't just build a gate on county land?" A woman with a toddler said, "I carried my kid through mud because of that lock." Somebody offered the inspector a photo of the gate being installed at 11:40 p.m. too. Phones rose higher, not for gossip, but for records. The HOA president kept talking, but the sound didn't have power anymore. It was like watching a bully run out of oxygen while everyone else sat up straighter. The county notice landed 2 days later. 10 days to remove the gate or face daily fines of $500, plus removal costs billed back to the HOA. The board tried one last compromise where I could use the path if I paid a key deposit and signed a waiver. My lawyer said no, and my spine agreed. On May 15, 2024, workers unbolted the gate in broad daylight while neighbors watched from driveways. Metal clanged. Bolts dropped into a bucket. The post slid out with a wet suction sound. The HOA president stood back, arms crossed, staring at her final word getting hauled away like junk. Then came the second shift, inside the aftermath, and it was almost peaceful. The path smelled like fresh-cut grass again instead of padlock rust. The neighbor with the stroller used it and smiled at me like we'd been on the same team the whole time. People started talking in driveways, not through cracked blinds. When the HOA sent another scary newsletter, 3 neighbors replied and asked, "What authority do you have?" Someone made a shared folder for documents. Another person started a neighborhood log for complaints, with dates and times. Even quiet folks began saving emails like it was normal. The spell stayed broken, because now everyone had paper, dates, and screenshots. People smiled more, too. On June 2, 2024, I walked past those courthouse steps again to record one final clarification from my title company. No blockade. No drama. Just a clean stamp and a receipt sliding across the counter. Outside, the air felt calmer, like the whole street finally exhaled. I went home, put my binder on a shelf, and wrote the date on the spine in black marker, because peace is nice, but proof is better. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and share. Was the HOA wrong? Drop a comment.